Welcome to Family Trainer for Nintendo Switch, which released yesterday in Australia and Europe and released as Active Life Outdoor Challenge elsewhere. This is a collection of 16 fitness mini-games that use the body in a variety of ways in order to get the body moving and get you sweating. I feel it would be disingenuous to give a full review after only 2 hours of gameplay, so I've tabled that for later this launch week, and I'm going to be giving my first impressions now that I've tried all 16 mini-games and I've seen all the modes, I've seen a lot of what the game has to offer. So let's jump in, and remember to hit like and subscribe for more Family Trainer content incoming. First, I wanted to talk about the intro. The game is very thorough in instructing. At the first load up of the game, it shows you how to set the controls up, including a well-paced guide to putting the leg strap on, also giving a definitive answer as to what to do when the leg strap slips, which is to just tighten it. Who knew? It also teaches you the basics of leg strap movement in the game with running, jumping and leaping, which is sort of a jump from running with your knee up. It also gives instructions for what to do with the other Joy-Con, which is to just hold it in your hand. After that, you're taken to the character creator, which actually includes your Miis from the Switch, which is really awesome to be honest, and then you're taken to the main modes of the game. It's a fairly lengthy intro, but I feel that it does describe what the game entails and what it requires of you pretty well, so I'm happy to have that sort of thing to properly instruct you before getting into the meat of the game. They clearly had family in mind for a game like Family Trainer, to which I applaud them. Now onto the mini-games themselves, and look, there is a wide variety of themes here. From the aforementioned running and leaping to simulating being in a minecart to whack-a-mole to trampoline acrobatics, each minigame oozes some sort of charm and uses the available controls in a different and sometimes challenging way. The games have star ratings for ease and often have multiple difficulties after that, so if you want something more relaxing, it's easy to find. Equally, if you're looking for more challenge, that's easy to figure out too. The minigames have their different goals as well. Often it is getting a high score or completing a course in a certain amount of time. Certain games though do have an infinite mode. This is basically you keep playing until you fail. Really cool incentive to keep trying and keep going for those high scores. It has a great long-term challenge implication, and I think that's really cool. I really dig that. The best thing here as well is that at points the minigames present significant enough challenge without being kind of annoyingly hard. So that good level, they've balanced it really well to be really cool, really hard, but not frustrating. And I really, again, applaud them for it. Each game's control scheme fits well with what it needs to do. The running involves you actually running on the spot, or foot shuffling as the game refers to it as. Jumping requires you to actually jump, of which a small hop works, and the upper body movements use the gyro controls on the Joy-Con well. Very little button pressing is actually used in the minigames at all. Most of the control schemes work as intended and feel very fun to do. I was a big fan of the Mole Madness game, where it uses the right Joy-Con to select a mole as a target and then you use your foot to stomp the hammer down, like whack-a-mole. An inventive control scheme that was really fun to play. Now forgive me, I've got to cycle back. I said most of the control schemes. That's because there were a couple that just weren't as responsive as they should be or were overly responsive. And part of me is wondering whether that was my own form for some of them, but for one in particular, I feel that the controls just aren't calibrated very well, and that is the kayaking minigame. Trying the controls from the instruction screen was just not working very well for me, and in order to complete it, I ended up just shaking the Joy-Con, like just continually shaking the Joy-Con until I got to the end, which isn't really how you're meant to intend the game to work, but doing the actual motion that it was telling me to just was not responding well, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Overall though, the controls felt pretty good with those small exceptions, so it's not really too much to worry about. The variety of modes seem fairly expansive as well, with outdoor adventure playing a bit like a story mode with lots of courses set up already, with unlockable courses for completing the courses available at the start. There's a good amount of variation here, beginner, intermediate and advanced. You have the option to create your own course too, which I will be using to make PT playlist style videos, so watch out for that. There is also the free play mode, which gives access to all of the games, all of the difficulties, just pick and play at your leisure and get a high score or time. The game also has an exercise training mode with specific playlists set to certain amounts of time and individual goals. This gave me a glimpse of what the game really has to offer down at the core, and I found it genuinely surprising in a good way. There are the standard sort of exercise things we've come to expect, your full body, your upper body, your core, your legs, but then there are ones like balance training, reaction time training, and marathon training, which is just repeating the sprinting area over and over again. It's really interesting to see, but not only that, these are more, the really critical points of fitness that you don't really see taken on in an exercise game. Honestly, colour me impressed. Really wasn't expecting it, and I think it's fantastic. The game clearly has a lot of potential long term with capturing the casual crowd, whilst also giving the opportunity for someone who wants basic yet fulfilling exercise with some excitement and energy pumped in. And that's before we see the challenge medals, which I had no idea about going in. Challenge medals serve as achievements, with a lot of them being basic things like play X minigame an amount of times or get a certain amount of points in a minigame, but others have some real thought and ingenuity behind them, and it gives more reason to try certain games and play them in different ways. The multiple star ratings for each medal gives a lot of long-term incentive here, and it's really refreshing to see this amount of care being put in. Honestly, I'm now wondering whether I was just subconsciously underestimating Family Trainer, because my first impressions so far have been great. The game has a lot of charm with its simple blocky aesthetic and really fun energy behind each minigame. I really enjoyed my first day with it, and I got my partner involved as well, and she really enjoyed the co-op and versus aspects of multiplayer too. The exercises cover the vast majority of areas, and by nature of a minigame have a lot of replayability and therefore incentive to come back day after day and keep playing. You can see how many athletic points you've gained each day as a way of seeing how much exercise you did on a certain day and track it like that in a report style area. However, there's no comprehensive tracking like calories, BMI, anything like that. You're not going to have anything like that you'd find in other fitness games. This is more kid friendly, less judgmental, which is pretty cool. I also noticed a distinct lack of accessibility features in the game. I know that the movement patterns are pretty simple and the games are easy to pull off in general, but I'm an able-bodied person, not everyone is. So having the options to actually be able to, play around with how the movement is detected would have been nice, and I'm not finding anything so far. But that said, I haven't delved into everything, so I will save my full judgment for that for my full review. All in all, I'm really happy with what I've seen so far. The game gets you sweating, there's a lot of different modes and a lot of different things to do in the game, and there's plenty for a completionist like myself to keep coming back and playing. Now, would I recommend that you buy it? Well, if you want to get moving and get fit in a more casual way than a game like Ring Fit Adventure or Fitness Boxing, or if you just want something fun to play with the family, something motion-based, something active, then yeah, this is the game for you. It's got a lot of potential in solo play, a lot of potential in multiplayer, and as I said earlier, there's a decent amount of challenge without it being frustrating, which is a really hard balance to find, and I really applaud it for that. So let me know in the comments if you're going to be grabbing the game, or if you're going to be waiting for my review next week. Obviously, I'll try and get it out sooner if I can, but I want to give a good amount of gameplay and a good amount of time to be able to give my full impressions and, make sure that I'm not kind of half-cocking it or anything like that. And if you are interested in Family Trainer content, obviously hit like and subscribe as well. I will be putting out more content in the meantime, a lot of guides and stuff to do with the challenge mode, and maybe a PT playlist or a course or something like that. I'll see how I'm feeling, but yeah, those are going to be coming in the launch week as well. So I hope you're looking forward to the content, and I hope you're looking forward to the game as well. Let me know in the comments if you're picking it up, or what you're excited for, or what you want me to cover. As always, thank you so much for watching. I've been Master Trainer Peter, and I'll see you soon.